Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so glad you're here. Please remember to click and to subscribe. And I'm always looking for feedback. Thank you so much for being here. I wanted to talk today about a young woman that I met who is a victim of coercive control. She is now an adult, and I'm going to be having some of these people on my podcast. But I thought it was really intriguing. We had a conversation and we started talking about the overt abuses that she experienced as a child in her home. And these overt experiences were, name calling and put downs and all of these experiences that made her feel uncomfortable. And then there were threats and there was even physical violence. So horrifying for a young child to experience. She was able to escape. She moved in with, relatives, and she was able to get out of the home, and her mother is finally escaping this relationship now. So this is a good story, very sad, but a good story that this child was able to escape. What was intriguing and probably unsettling, and certainly was for her, is when I asked her about the covert abuse. And she said, "Well, what do you mean by covert abuse?" And I said, "Well, like the things that an abuser might say that would be like, you sure you want to play that sport? Or, hmm, you sure you want to eat that? Might add some pounds onto you." And she had a moment of complete and utter shock. She had never, as a young adult, considered all of the ways that this abuser had covertly been abusing her as a child. And so, needless to say, it became more of a therapeutic conversation. But I just want to be really clear. These abusers, this is not invisible abuse, by the way. Some people are calling it invisible abuse. It's not invisible abuse. Verbal assaults are invisible. Stalking isn't invisible. Neither is sexual violence or sexual coercion, nor is physical violence. What can feel invisible, of course, is gaslighting, right? Is, of course, manipulation, intimidation, but even intimidation doesn't have to be invisible. It can be physical intimidation. Coercive control is all of these things. It's not invisible only, it's all of it. It's the underpinning of all abuse. And it often shows up covertly, and certainly covertly initially. That initial experience is the pulling in, is the covertness. When it becomes overt is when these abusers can no longer wield their control over their victims in the same way. So, of course, it's going to become overt. And sometimes this happens more quickly. It depends on the ability for the abuser to retain their own control. So it's actually kind of frightening when we think about it that the abusers who can't retain their own control and become violent right away, that is super scary and awful and horrific. But the people who also hide it for a long time and we never really know who they are, I mean, that is also really creepy and frightening and scary and horrifying. So, to all the young people out there, or to a parent who's wondering if they're being abused or if their child is being abused, ask yourself this: what are the things that are being said in a way that are supposedly benign, not really supposed to be mean, but they actually are undercutting a person's autonomy, their agency, their sense of self? What is it that's being said? Do you really like hockey? Are you sure you like hockey? I don't really like hockey. Like, again, what is being said to undermine that person in particular, in this case, a child? Have a great day, everyone.